Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet.
The Trinidad, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea with an old captain named Eric Williams. For years, sail smooth and free. But sadly, Eric Williams passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head
That,
when I sail a ball.
you're live.
Captain, this ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty.
Kids here and you are live.
Abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa.
They come now and they're going to be increasing on all fines. Well, as there's a God above, I am hoping that they never have to touch me in any way because I normally drive within the limit. I normally make sure my vehicles are top tier where maintenance are concerned. When a bulb blow, I change it and whatnot. And anytime I might be pulled over for something like that is because it just happened. Because I always try to keep on top of it. Sometimes I'm driving behind a driver and I would just be setting my indicators just to see if the light is shining in the rear of the vehicle. And I do it for the back as well. So I look through my rearview mirror and see if, especially in the night, because that's when you'll normally be using a light, if it's shining in the front of the one behind me. So I will urge the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to be very vigilant because they come out, they're ready, right? Um, what was this slogan again, Renison? Oh boy, it's such a sad thing to see that the people we ask for change and a change hopeful for the better, and it's a change that is going to create a catastrophic devastation to Trinidad and Tobago from the U.S. alliance by our Prime Minister, and I want to keep this abundantly clear that she does not speak for us, the nation, she speaks for herself when she's doing these reckless type of things. That alliance that is designed to have some monetary gain to it will cripple Trinidad and Tobago before we could ever. No country in the world that has banned alliances with the US has ever seen it, seen what they've offered, seen what they've indicated that they would be willing to give you if you join forces with them. No country in this world has ever seen it. Everyone has a sad story to speak on whenever they indicate joining forces. And this was once again for me, as I mentioned, a situation where it was not necessary for us to choose sides, but for us to understand where our position needed to be in order to revamp our economy and our social settings. Yeah, because we have other people to answer to. We are part of CARICOM, right? Never no time the US has come to our aid for any financial or social assistance. As a matter of fact, you want to go to the US, just the other day they raised um, visa applications, right? So it's not to say you are offering us free or a concession to travel to the US without needing a visa and whatnot, right? Like how we used to be able to go to the UK. That's not the situation. So explain to me, why are you jeopardizing Trinidad and Tobago's economy and social setting? Because to me, that is economic and social sabotage. And the old people have a saying, who have eyes let, well, the Bible has that saying, who have eyes let them see, and who have ears let them hear. I'm wondering if you all are waiting for the 5 years to turn out for us to see the direction that these people are going to leave us in. Because once they do it, do what they're doing, there is no other government that's going to be able to come and clean up this mess. We will be slave to the lender, right? We can do nothing. For the election, I would have put out a couple, um, we would say a manifesto, but it wasn't a manifesto. It was more or less a social and economical portfolio for Trinidad and Tobago so that we can revamp ourselves without the need of other countries or the IMF and whatnot, right? Because we have a vying economy. We do. We have an economy that is transcending. That literally means we can do anything. We can go in any direction. It's like a jack of all trades and a master of none. We can do so many things with our economy. They had no clue, right? Every so often I'll hear get on a call or get in a this or that or whatever is the case because they have auditors, they have people listening, they have people checking, they have people listening. But guess what? Why does you put us in the mess when all we needed to do was they redevelop a fully functional medical tourism portfolio for Trinidad and Tobago, which is highly possible because we have most of all our hospitals, general hospitals, with full facilities available, right? And for individuals who are unable to afford the US, Canada, or any other, or pounds to seek treatment for their family members, they would have been able to come here. People leave and they do cosmetic surgeries, they do a number of different things, right? A number of countries, excuse me, a number of countries have tapped into the medical tourism, not just for cosmetics, but for critical illness surgeries as well. We have, which was the only thing I saw that they mentioned just about 2 months ago after the budget. After, actually, it was the recap of the budget where they indicated that they will do a special economic zone, which is like a trade zone, right? That's another thing that allows countries to reposition themselves um, in a better economical setting and social setting simply because you generate the trading dollar, whatever it could be, because currently the US is fighting to maintain themselves as the trading dollar. That is really so what people are not understanding is what the fight US is on against Venezuela is really for. Venezuela will control all of the Latin countries. And once they control Venezuela, they control all of them. But again, keeping our mouths out to big people business and minding our own business with a government and a prime minister that have an upstairs that is not um, tainted or hampered by any outside influence would have made it a lot easier for her to ban with her merrymen and come up with a better plan. I was willing to share my plan and I did. And I'm still willing to because you took the special economic zone, right? But we have medical tourism. And then from that, we will then be able to generate revenue into agricultural tourism. And then we would have also been able to generate that into smaller production and manufacturing, right? So that would have given our country a steady BCG matrix, right? That matrix would have given us an economic portfolio that would have allowed us to withstand most anything, especially when you're dealing with medical related stuff, when you're dealing with trade, when you're dealing with overall manufacturing, production, agriculture, because and even to go as further for communication and AI, right? Because when you study business, the first concept of understanding what business does, they tell you what is the concept of business. Business is designed to satisfy.
Right, we hear you loud and clear.
All right, so there in my guys live in a valley, and the rain is falling. It's literally falling. So there's not much I could do about that. I actually thought this new provider would have been perfect. And mind you, all other days I got perfect reception. So I'm actually surprised that I'm getting this challenge now, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Yeah, the show must go on. So Trinidad and Tobago have to be extra vigilant, understanding that we need to stand on our own financially. In the absence of petroleum, in the absence of asphalt, which would have been our black gold, we need to be able to stand on our own because once we present a strong portfolio to satisfy not just our needs but needs of the outside market, we will generate the US income or the trading dollar income because it could go in either direction. And once we are able to do that, we are then going to be able to manage most any economical storm. That was the position that we were being placed in, um, let me say, the past through 20 years. 20 years ago, that was the direction that was trying to be established so that we would have been able to weather the storm. Back then, there was a recession, and Trinidad and Tobago didn't feel it. We had a boom. But again, we were dependent on the oil and gas and on the pitch. We need our government because at this stage, it's six or one and half a dozen of the other. Because if the half a dozen of the other was better, we would have never choose the six or one that we have now. So we need a government understanding what it is to stand on your own. There are countries in this world that are not phased or rocked by any of the outside elements simply because they have created self sufficiency and they have presented themselves to be in demand. For example, China, all of Asia, let's put it like that because a lot of times we think everything comes from China, but that's not true. A lot of stuff comes from the Asian market. China, Japan, Suriname, Singapore, India, etc. Right? So they have made themselves self-sufficient because everything we use, down to this that I am wearing, is made in China, branded for somebody else. And I'm sure we would see a lot of products on the market branded to different companies here in Trinidad. You may go places like Brand Source and one or two others, and you always see that the product tagged with their brand, but it's made in China, right? So that gives you an idea. I mean, I could list other countries too, but just to give you an idea that we can become that for our Caribbean and many other countries because we have our own dollar and a dollar that is lower in value than a lot of other currencies. So it makes coming to Trinidad to do anything better. There is not another island in the Caribbean that orders, well, not yet or currently, but they may be getting there because Guyana pushing ahead, yeah, and Jamaica is expanding, yeah. So, but either which way, most of them are still unable to do what we do, the level of imports we do, the level of production we do. Many of them do not. And if we can maximize on that, we can transition ourselves out of the rut that we are in without having to choose sides in a war that has nothing or in a battle that has nothing to do with us. right? You stand neutral. There are a lot of other things regarding that that I want to go back into in a recap, but it's not going to be tonight. Another topic, I'm going to stick a pin in this topic for now because I don't want to be on for the entire night. I want to give you all a rest. Renison, if we have anyone willing to call in and ask questions while we're on, no problem. But if not, I'm just looking for a half an hour slot just to throw in some info. Another thing is, with all the import increases and stuff like that, and we have companies obviously going to be increasing their prices, right? So I want us as a nation and a country to be vigilant because though she is raising, meaning the prime minister is raising these tariffs and stuff, there is no implementation or revision of the regulations to ensure that prices are controlled. Because things in Trinidad and Tobago are overly priced. If you are bringing an item, purchasing it wholesale, for example, price match, I mean, I could go down the road of examples of companies. You buy something at the lowest, but when you reach here, you hike it up to the highest, over exorbitant, and I'm talking about 500% profit, not no 100% or anything like that. 500% profit that by the time you pay expenses, you are still going away with between 2.5 to 300%, well, 250 to 300% profit for yourself. I am wondering if any price regulations are going to be done because let me tell you this. When you buy a fridge, a stove, a machine, or most major appliances, the tag on it tells you 10 years. A lot of people within the first 2 years of owning those items would tend to experience technical issues with them. And then when you have places like Standards, Courts, and American stores, you go to them, they're telling you the item is out of warranty when it's not. It's out of what they want to tell you they are willing to offer to relinquish liability for being responsible for the either the exchange or the repair of the product, right? So they will tell you that you have to pay for all kind of fees now they come up with, and this is a real experience that a family member of mine is experiencing. So that's why I'm mentioning it. Places like BM, electronics, and all of these other companies that's coming out and finding innovative ways of robbing people. Because I'll tell you this, for BM Electronics, I'm a highlight all you because all you vex me for the holiday. Since November, I asked to have my stove serviced. Now, my stove isn't 5 years yet, but in little over the first year, the knobs started to melt. The oven wasn't sealing properly, and they kept coming. They sent a technician one time to do a repair. I said, you know what? When I move, I'm not going with this, so I don't really want to press about. But I have to think about that. There's a call coming in, Renison.
Yes, we have a call on the line.
Good night,
Let's
good night,
go.
good night. How are you people doing tonight?
Good night.
I just have
We
a
are
quick
fine,
question.
thanks. Goodly gentlemen.
Right now, Trinidad and Tobago is in the middle of a regime change operation with the United States and Venezuela. Everything you said for the past half an hour about economic opportunity and all of this nonsense doesn't apply. It's not going to happen. Don't even talk about it. Let's focus on what's happening right now with the Trinidad government, businesses shutting down, taxes in your tail, and all this stuff. It seems like you're talking about stories from 6 months ago, and we need to catch you up to what is happening in current events. Have a good night.
Okay, Slimy. Now, we are well aware, which I mentioned in the beginning. I'm not sure if you were in tune from since we started. I did see that we have a lot to talk about. So we're doing a recap. And the recap is simply because we've been off for so long. So we have to go back a little bit before we go forward, right? So we are aware of the regime change. We are aware of all the other challenges regarding it. I mean, I could throw out info. You know, I'm master of throwing out info, doing my research and throwing it out. But tonight is not for one of those. And that's why I said I'm going to stick a pin in it. So once again, I'm saying that I'm going to stick a pin in that there because what we need to look at is when all of these things are done in what's happening in Trinidad right now with the change of the tariff increase that is coming, the vehicular rates that are going to be changing and pretty much double for an economy that is already struggling and for a lot of people who are already out of jobs. I know people who are working CPAP that had to buy
Bluetooth
vehicles to try to do
disconnected.
taxiing and teach you ride share and whatnot in order to manage their bills. So I understand where you're coming in, Slimy, but what I'm saying is that is when we're not dealing with that tonight. That's why I stuck up in there. It was a little recap of the things that we want to address coming going forward into 2026. But what I wanted to address is another thing that we have to be mindful of because when you raise tariffs and you raise the penalties on vehicular oh God, I can't remember what you're calling it right now, but you throw off my train of thought just now, so the word gone off my mind. But everybody knows because it's all over the news. Where are the regulations uh, proper to be maintained according to proper living standards? Because you throw penalties on landlords. Where is the rent assessment boards to manage the cost of rent? Because when you have certain places not even being the size or condition for the rent that they charge, but people have no choice, you need to regulate that. So understand what I'm saying. The cart is before the horse in everything that they are doing. So this is what I want to highlight because when that tariff raise, you're going to hear these people that bringing in this stuff, the courts, the standards, the this, the that, the other, coming to tell you that they cannot acknowledge a 10-year warranty that is on the product by the manufacturer and telling me that I have a 1-year warranty on a product that manufacturer has given a 10-year warranty and all you need to do is put them together on a container and ship them back to where they need to go and get the replacements for them because that is the arrangement you would have made with the supplier, right? But you don't want to take the extra cost or the hassle and you want to take it out on poor people already. So hence the reason why I went into a situation that I am dealing with. So BM never came. Let me go back into that. They said no lie. They sent a man. The man walked in the door. So I told him, I said, this burner, I use it a lot, so I know it burn out, but I just want to make sure if that is the burnout is the issue as to why I going like that, or if it is the item itself is giving problem. The burner itself from the inside is giving problems, and you may have to do it something. No, 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 you need to change that. What I heard you're using that not for that, so that's why they're going so. Okay. I said, but what about the igniter and the
Bluetooth connected.
A leader, how to choose a leader. That's the most relevant question today. Now that the man retire, people spitting fire, and every talking head having their say. For in this mixed up land that we call Trinbago, many
Understand?
say that just boil down to race. They say that one side like African, and the
Understand?
next prefer.
Hello?
We are live. We are live. We are live.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Again, the weather valley can't do much about that. But I'm mentioning BM. So the gentleman then decided to tell me I have to go ahead and make the payment on the service charge, and he will check for the part and get back to me. Now, to this day, I'm waiting for them to get back to me. But about 2 days or so after, I got a call. Hi, good day, asking for me. I said, yes, this is me. Um, the technician came by you and you're supposed to make the payment. So I said, yes, the technician came by me. And yes, I am supposed to make the payment. But isn't that supposed to be based on the fact that
Bluetooth
I
disconnected.
that because I want to read it. Look at opening the chat. This is it here. You may not get to see it because clearly light on light, but I'm going to read. So I'm going back a little because people need to be vigilant. You see those increases that they're going to make on tariffs. You're going to be robbed left, right, and center. So you need to put your foot down with these um, distributors, courts, VM, standards, American stores, and the works. All of them. They're going to try to pull things out of the woodwork. So I sent all the info they needed, model info and stuff like that. So they sent me a message. The service fee will range between 250 to 350. Any additional parts will be an additional fee. So I said, okay, right? Because I just want the stuff working so I could do my job. So I read again. 6 seconds. I said, okay, no problem. Let me know when the technician could come. So I read again. And they took a while to respond. So when they did, they said, we do apologize for the late response. The technician will reach out to you regarding making the arrangements. Right? That was on the 12th of December from since November. Right? Now I told you all they came and then the technician came and then he told me he's going to check on the parts the same day and then he will get back to me, which he never did. So this message came in. Good morning. We understand that the technician visits you. He did advise that you require the front right burner, left switch and the igniter. Also, the service fee was not paid. Now, a service fee is when you service something, which means you actually touched it, felt it, tried to fix it, and then we could say your time was used. Now, this man did not even spend a 10 minutes by me. Hear what I'm telling you. He came and he was operating in a rush and he left at the same speed, telling me he was going to get back to me with all the items I needed to fix my stove. Mind you, my stove ain't all looking on nothing. Eh? I polish my stove and everything. My stove does be clean. My stove does polish. It's still shining, stainless steel. So that's to give you an idea of what it is he was dealing with. It's not somebody with a bragadan breakdown stove that you're hoping for a women a prayer for it to work. My stove in good condition. I could sell my stove and get very close to what the asking price, the current price in the by BM is. That's to tell you. My stove in good condition. Change that burner and my stove fine. No problem. Then they call me. I said hi. Technician never called back, which was on the 21st of December. So they called me. And when they called me and they said, well, you have to make the payment, I said, excuse me. I said, I'm not dumb, you know. I don't know if it's a dumb person you all think all you're dealing with. But a service fee, if you Google the term service, what is a service fee? A service fee is you do something to something, you use your time and your energy, your parts, equipment, and whatnot, and you are required to be paid for that. Not walking 10 minutes like you is the king and walk back out, and I have to pay you for walking in and walking out. You have to be special. We have a caller.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Slimy, not tonight, please. Not tonight.
Hello,
Renison,
you,
cut off Slimy,
I'm
please.
I'm really sorry about your stove. I mean, all of the viewers, I mean, all of us, we really sorry
Renison,
about the problems you're having.
Renison, Renison, I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but could you cut off Slimy, please? Because Slimy thinks that everything is in a country or in life, you only have one thing to deal with. We have to prepare the nation for everything that they have to deal with, not just one thing. If he wants to join the program and put in his 2 cents and he champion one cause and I champion the other, I welcome that. I have no problem. I never had a problem with him. And when I do have an issue with what he's doing, I tell him. But the country is not run on one thing. Well, it's not one thing alone the citizens need to be aware of because all of these things add right up back to the same situation that we're dealing with. So I want everybody to understand that if we do not be wise and we do not be vigilant, what will happen is you're going to be robbed blind. Because another relative of mine dealing with an issue out of court for an item they paid for cash, and all courts keep doing is stretching it out, stretching it out, stretching it out, so that the time would have lapsed, so that they can now relinquish liability for dealing with stuff. These are important things that the citizens need to know because it is coming. Just how we said the 10%, whatever percentage they would have been offered would have come. And when it comes, everything around the sun going to raise, groceries and everything, that is what's going to happen. Groceries is going to raise. When you go price match, absorb it, they will not. They're going to increase the prices. And when the prices increase, people cannot survive. People cannot live. We need people to understand everything adds up. Just like every cent makes a dollar. A dollar don't come just like that. It's made up of 100. Every single thing in life adds up to something. Because when she had that big meeting with the 1%, all of them who were up in arms before, all of a sudden they're happy and smiling. I don't know if you remember a couple months ago, it was a big meeting with the 1%. Right? The 1% ain't going and be closing businesses who cannot weather the storm for those tariffs that they're going to implement. And there's ways and means of getting around it. Ways and means of weathering the storm. So tonight I am not entertaining Slimy. If Slimy wants to collaborate on a program where he handles certain things and I handle certain things, so we can collectively educate the public, that is what I want. If you're not doing that, your call will not be taken, not on my program. If I am, if it's anybody else, I will exit and go stage left. You all could do whatever all you want, but it's not tonight because I have a lot of other things that the public needs to be aware of. They are going to rub you blind and talk about 1 year warranty. Big tag on the item telling you 10 years, but you come in to say 1 year warranty. And after that, you know when that year goes, they're charging you for everything under the sun they do, which they're supposed to do it in the first place. Because that is what they bargained for when they made the arrangements with the supplier. So I need Trinidad and Tobago to be vigilant. I need people to be aware of what their rights are. And if the government is not willing to facilitate us, then they are not worthy of being in government. And we vote them out, right? Start to pressure your councillors, pressure your MPs, and let them petition for a vote of no confidence, and we go back to the polls. Because this is a runaway train. No pile of sand, no pile of rocks, nothing ain't going to stop this. People need to understand what is going on. That is why I said we are doing a recap first. We were off a while. Trinbago Social Talkonomics has been off for a while and we are coming back. I am hoping to put in all the time necessary because this we are going down a precipice fast with no break. The minor things because they have other social influencers coming up about all the niceties that they get from standards and niceties from course and niceties from this one and niceties from that one. Who talking about the issues people are experiencing with them? Who is speaking about that? And when I letting Trinidad and Tobago know, I letting the rest of the Caribbean know because courts have business in the other islands. And the same challenges we get in here is the same ones they get in out there. You put them in court, trust me, they will not be able to cash that. That check they're going to write, they will not be able to cash it. So just pretty much sorry, I got a call coming in. Answer it, ask him where he is, and if he's outside, open the door. same thing. So I don't know what to do at this point. Maybe I have to tap into some satellite feed or something of the sort to be able to study this. But I'm hoping to probably do most of the broadcasting out of home. So that way I would be in an open space where the connection would be a lot better than where I am now. But just to get into it, these people, with what has been arranged, what people are not paying attention to, what people are not looking at, that is where they're going to catch us. During COVID, a garlic spread moved from $28 to $32, and then vast jump from that. Gas went up overall, I think, by $3 during COVID. Different times, different increments that would have amounted to $3. Why that garlic spread jumped from $28 to 50 something dollars, twice the amount right now. You understand what I'm saying? So people are not going to see when the increases happen. You are just going to realize you're spending more money to live. You're saying that you're coming down on landlords to pay um, their income, their taxes. But where is the rent assessment board or under the public utilities or under the Ministry of Housing? Where are the regulations to ensure that people get value for their money? Because a lot of these places are not in the condition for renting or size. You could barely fit a bed, farm, or anything else. When you put a bed, they have no closets or anything in it. So, but when you put your bed, you can't put nothing else. You can't put a wardrobe or anything because of the size. Tell me what you're going to be doing for the people. Don't come and give back pay to come and take it away from people. This is what I was speaking of it from in the beginning. Because they give you back pay. And when you think, well, I can pay off my bills and stuff and get ahead, it's because you're paying off your bills from what you had before. Now you have to borrow again to deal with what you're dealing with now. And all your money done. It makes no logical sense. So my plight is that we push and urge the government to create a system that is in the benefit of the people. The one percenters cannot always be the only ones benefited. They can actually weather the storm financially. They weren't affected. All the stores they see closed down here and there, the one percenters still rallying, you know. And guess what? They're rallying on our back. Because here what? They don't put their businesses where they live in because they would never make the money. You always hear them say most all of those 1% businesses, Porter Spade does do the best in sales, Tuna Puna, Arima, and all these other places. They don't live there. Why do they put us in Valsine, Westmoreland, certain parts of Maraval? Why do they block off and say they don't want us patronizing the business? They will never because they cannot keep themselves rich. They use us to make them rich. There is a way to break that system. And what I am trying to do is educate our public on how to break that system. That is what I want. I want us to understand what is necessary to break the system, right? So that way we are able to get what we deserve, not what crumbs you're willing to give us. Because I watch how you talk about yes, you could get the back pay and you'll get it before Christmas and stuff like that. But what are you going to do after? Because as soon as you did it, guess what? You come and talk about tariff, you come and talk about vehicular penalties, and something else you mentioned that will only cost the poor man. You say you're bringing back CPAP under a different portfolio. Let me see. right? Because the budget for CPEP could have go into local government, so that way municipals and corporations would have been able to offer more jobs. You come, you increase it for other areas, you take it away for Port of Spain. How you telling me for the people? But again, the people needs to see. Renaston, I don't know if you have anything to say, if you have anything you want to share, but I didn't want this program to be too long tonight.
You know. But other than that, I didn't really have
Yeah,
anything
I
to
just
add.
want to glide back into the view of the public.
Yeah. So I
Just glide back in. We have any comments? Anybody other than Slimy?
you on show on the program, so you always on. You always passionate. He's a passionate fella.
I
Considering
don't
what you
have a
think.
problem with him coming in to collaborate and we do he takes one topic, I take one topic. I am fine with that. But what I have a problem with, and I think he's a grown man, grown enough to understand that when you want people to hear you, you cannot say what you want to say and say it
Hello. Well, I see you. Your internet, Gilly. Internet. So Trinidad and Tobago. That was Keziah, and she would have came up here to make a contribution on what is taking place within the world. Well, in Trinidad at least. So you get she back up. Yeah, Keziah. So you are up.
Renathan, tell me this, and I mean, it's general info, but you think an extender will help with this internet issue I'm experiencing? I'm wondering if that might be a solution.
Extendable.
The device that does pull the the internet stronger.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That could work, but it must be able to repeat too at the same time.
Yeah.
Take it and repeat it.
Okay.
Yeah, that something like that we just do down on the side.
Well, something I'll try. I'll do some more research and decide which one I'll get. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to get it between now and weekend.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so this is a recap. We are hoping to be on consistently and steady on a schedule, weekly schedule. I am hoping to add on someone to the panel, excuse me, three persons. So I want the public to look out for that. Someone from Tobago to speak on Tobago's end. Um, I have someone who is from the UNC side of things, that they would be putting in their 2 cents based on what they are observing now. Though they support the government, they are not in support of the actions that they are taking. So what they are in support of was what they looked at as the well, the runaway government that we had prior under Dr. Rowley. So they were in support of the change. With the change, there are some things that they are not happy with the new government, especially that coalition or alliance with U.S. against Venezuela, right? And as I mentioned before, there is such a thing as the Bolivarian order, and where we think a lot of these things are myths, like when you hear the Da Vinci Code and all of these different things. Or what I know is every story came from some truth. And when the time comes and you see the truth unfold, is who know and who don't know, they hell to catch for them. You understand? So we are going to be back. We are going to be dealing with a lot of things, but I need for the public, because do not be blinded and or blindsided and be ripped off, because the 10%, the 1% are going to take us for the mix through this government that we have. If anybody had seen that press conference or meeting or whatever it was that they had, where the 1% met with the current government, they all left smiling, and that was for a reason. I don't want to be talking things, because when I talk things, people just want to know why I get I info from this, that, and the other. And when the mark bust, like play with, when they lose, they don't come back and tell you they ain't play. So they does never come back and say, hey, you know what you say had merit, what not. They leave it blank. And I okay with it staying blank, but I want you to remember that what I tell you need to sink in, because it's going to come. Everything I've said so far came, and it's going to keep coming, right? Whether you want to look at it logically, whether you want to look at it scientifically, whether you want to look at it spiritually, however you look at it will all add up to the very same thing. We need to stand up for ourselves and break this system, because many are going to be falling at the wayside. It started already, and it's going to continue. So, Ranastin, I'm ready to wrap up. If nothing you want to add, I think I'm good there for tonight. I'm going to send you the report that I want for the next program, and we can take it from there.
Well, I would like to tell you welcome back. Welcome back to the program. And we take a long rest
Thank you.
during this whole Christmas season, you know. It's woman time when that time take place. So I can't vex.
Well, it was Christmas season, it was travels, it was a lot of back and forth, business stuff, work stuff, a lot of different things to handle. So I was trying to, you know, get my bearings and then determine how I could move forward. So it was a lot of things. And then Christmas came, and I'm a Christmas baby, so Christmas is going to get my full attention.
Well, nice to see you back. Nice to see you back, and you know, I mean, we hoping to have something that is consistent. We have a new schedule that is rolling out at least in January, where go have a lot of other people to the cast, to the channel, to the platform. A matter of fact, you know,
Which will be good. Diversity
where
is
they will be
nice.
talking about, you know, same current events. Just what I'm saying, it will shock a lot of
Which
people,
is
the kind
good.
of people that we have. We have some Lara and
That would
Jackie
be
Paul.
absolutely,
We have some heavy hitters coming.
that will absolutely be good. Which is good, because the thing is, the more of us that join singing the same song, the more of us that dance into the same tune is going to highlight. We're not highlighting for Trinidad and Tobago alone, we're highlighting for the world, because we want the world to see what we have here masquerading as government.
Mhm.
So we just have to play it off. But Trinidad and Tobago, it's a pleasure to be back. It's a pleasure to bask in your presence and to share the info that we have. And I look forward to all our other programs to come for future. Again, I'd like to say compliments for the season with many happy returns. Be safe, be blessed, keep good. Be good until.
Thank you.